Now ready with a 3-2 pitch. May have gone. They check. He did. Euclid strikes out. He is hot and yelling at Jerry Davis. Got to be very careful. He has said a lot already. He is out number 2 of the 8th. And he's been tossed just as he got to the dugout steps. Jerry Davis let him talk for a while, but then heard enough to eject him from the game. And Terry Francona will take on the cause.
Now here's the pitch in question. Did Euclid go or did he not go? It's very tough to tell from that angle. We'll take another look at this angle. Looks like he might have held up, Don.
Yep.
Then as Euclid continued to bark, that's when he got thrown out of the ball game.
Third time Euclid has been ejected in his career. It's the 9th ejection for the Red Sox this season.
1-2 on Molina. And it got him. Inside corner, Molina barking. He's gone. I think he bumped him.
He did.
And this is going to be a suspension most likely for Molina. Look at that.
These guys are something else, aren't they? Look at them.
Oh, Molina is going to go down for a while with this.
Yeah, this is uncalled for right there. That is just unbelievable. Bumping the umpire. He bumped him again.
A shocking reaction from Yadier Molina.
Unbelievable.
I mean, it's one thing to disagree, but this is another level here.
One bump, 2 bumps, and there he goes again, a third, and he's spitting on him.
That's a kind of moment that will stay with a player for a long, long time.
Ridiculous. Spitting in the umpire's face, bumping him, going after him like he wants to hurt him. That is just completely out of line by Yadier Molina. That's a good pitch, too. What's he barking at?
You hit the call button, so you're not on the air. There's a strike 3 call. Charlie Morton. That's Charlie striking out 3 in a row. Morton with a K. And many of the fans giving him a standing O. This case with Bob Davidson. Here's Tyler Colvin getting tossed because he didn't like the call. Close. Very close to being a strike. As you see on our strike zone, it was a bit inside.
Yeah, but you've got the human element there, regardless of that grit. That is the bottom line in this whole thing. You're going to get some of those calls. You're not going to get them. And when you beef enough to get yourself thrown out on that close a pitch, well. Meanwhile, the whole thing is Charlie Morton. That's the story right here. 5 innings, got 5 strikeouts now, 1 ball out.
Claudia hands his lineup card to Pat Listash, his bench coach, and heads down the runway and into his office.
Philadelphia, winners of 6 in a row, absolutely loaded baseball team. Get over there.
Oh, come on, Hudson. Jeez.
Throws Brian Brody out of the game after calling Gardner safe. Gardner has yet another infield hit.
Hudson telling me threw him out of the game.
He did.
And Ozzie is saying, what? So Bruni will depart. As runners at the corners, nobody out.
There's the look. We'll slow it down. Bang, bang, and we didn't get the bang.
You can use the left-handed hitters. Right-handers can take advantage of the two.
And that'll be to first base, as good as a bunt, maybe a hit. Yes, and it's going to move the runner to third. And no, as Torres had to go back. Backing up matters, and Hill was there doing what he's supposed to do.
Well, here comes Sean Farrell, because he's going to say there's a 45-foot line, and he's going to ask Brian Knight, was Andino in it? Because if he's not, and right here, watch if he's in that 45-foot line right here. And well, he's right on it. And I'm sure John's reasoning is that basically, otherwise you don't give an avenue or a lane for a pitcher to catch the ball, and he's making a very valid point. This is
lucky that he chopped the chalk.
Yeah, exactly. But he was very close. I mean, it wasn't a blading out of the box, but they give you that line, you have to stay in it, because otherwise you can't throw a ball in fair territory. The runner's there. So again, he's right on the line. And he just makes a horrible throw. But again, the angle was very difficult for Luis Perez, and I don't think he's going to win it. You know, a catcher, Elrod Hendricks in the '69 World Series, when he ended up hitting J.C. Martin in the rear end, was yelling at Shaq Crawford, hey, he's out of the box. He didn't make the call.
I mean, technically, you're supposed to be in the
that
lane.
box. He wasn't.
He wasn't.
No.
And he's asking, I think, get the first baseman's help. Jerry Lane, the first base umpire, who is the crew chief, also coming down.
Yeah, Jerry's looking at what's going to happen at first base in case the throw is made. So, yeah, very valid argument. And again, if you had replays.
On his way back, he meandered in towards the plate and got to talking to Knight again, and apparently spoke the magic words, because he said something, turned around and started back to the dugout, and he took one step and Knight heaved him. He's still talking about the runner Andino being out of the baseline going down to first.
Which he probably was.
And that hits Victorino in the back, and Victorino's thinking about something. And now we got action. And Eli Whiteside goes right after Polanco.
It's going to go a while. There goes Victorino in it again. Now going at it. Charlie Manuel has finally separated Victorino. And to say that there's an edge between these two teams is an understatement.
the way that Whiteside got out from behind home plate and positioned himself between Victorino and Ramirez, and he started bouncing around, you sensed it was game on.
Well, Charlie Manuel's either taking Victorino out of the game or he's been ejected. I think.
Jeremy Affeld's coming in the game. Victorino's gone. Ramirez is gone.
It's a double switch too. Beltran's coming out.
And Eli Whiteside got tossed.
Yeah, I don't know about that one. I mean, he's really just trying to make sure nobody got into the pile. But
now watch Eli. Your job is to get between the hitter and your pitcher and protect him. And then all of a sudden, here comes Polanco. And Eli Whiteside went into the sled drill.
so you got a lot of baseball left. Some of the coaches are really trying to help.
Well, that was Juan Samuel, the third base coach for the Phillies, getting into it with Ron Wotus. And then there's the discussion between Wotus and the umpires.
Got him looking. Well, Alex just got tossed from the game as he tossed his bat and then his helmet toward home plate umpire Rob Drake. Ted Yost is going to argue that the bat toss thought that it was because of ball 4, not that he was showing up the umpire. Remember, we told you earlier that this umpire, Rob Drake, was the one that was involved in the argument with Yadier Molina in Milwaukee, which resulted in a 5-game suspension. So Rob Drake's probably had enough of this. Well, you know what Ned's arguing is that Alex thought it was ball 4. And that's why he flipped the bat, although it was a long flip. It went almost all the way to the dugout. Gary Darling is the crew chief, and he's going to get a word or two from Ned.
We'll take a good look at it here, Ryan. The ball is down over the plate, and it's kind of a late call. Alex gave up on the pitch a little early, and I agree with you. It kind of got caught in between walking toss, and it just covered a lot of ground. And I think that's what. I mean, you can see why he thought it was a ball 4.
It looked like he was already in motion to flip the bat, and while he was in motion, he realized he struck out. But doesn't look like he was intentionally trying to show up the umpire. It's just in the middle of his motion to flip the bat, he realized he struck out and just did that out of frustration.
He thought it was staged, but it wasn't. No, people just all of a sudden Petey showed up and fans went wild. Now, to finish the story, Tommy Bahama, it was a charity event, so players are not compensated for charity events. So these players are taking their own time.
That ball's that far inside, Freddie. That's a ball. Right. You want to go? You looking to get run?
Ah, there he goes.
Boom, just like that. You heard Hunter Wendelstedt say that ball is this far inside. And once Freddie continued the conversation, you can't argue balls and strikes. Didn't take long for Hunter Wendelstedt to run Freddie.
So Freddie has been tossed from the ball game. Here's a look at it. It's in. And you heard Hunter Wendelstedt, are you looking to get run?
Yeah. Then they're back out on the road to Philly and New York and Washington. No, Philly, New York.
Freeman.
So there is good news. A ray of hope.
Not if you're Freddie Freeman. He's not real happy. Did Freddie Gonzalez early in the game, and Freddie Freeman after this. Is that a swing, Tommy?
Probably. Yeah, it's another tweener, and I think it's a call over the years we've seen called a strike much more than it was years ago.
Well, Freeman was upset about it. He must have said something.
Because again, whatever happened to just the fine if you flipped your helmet away and threw your bat? He might have said something, but
2 on, 1 away. Orioles have made it a 4-3. Double steal, throw to third, and got him. And there'll be an argument there. Nick Markakis, red hot. Bill Cousy, the third base umpire. Buck Showalter's out.
Let's see that draw off with the first pitch, and we talked about the numbers, 17 out of 17. So this would be the first runner caught this year. Looked like his hand got in. Watch that left hand to Markakis. It's in.
He was safe, and Showalter's hot.
And a big play. You're back in the ball game at 4-3.
He's gone. Kicks the dirt away from the bag as he goes by.
Big plays in this series at third base. Usually don't see this many. Look at the left hand of Markakis right there. Safe. And you can see the third base umpire. You can't problem his position. He is right there. I think that's what Buck Showalter was telling you. You were in perfect position to call it. How could you miss it?
You got to make sure that he lives up to that average. Check swing. He goes. And now he's thrown out Mike Scioscia. And Scioscia climbs over the railing, and here we go.
I don't understand it. I don't understand why you should be listening to the manager in the dugout after strike one. You, Kenny?
Well, he heard it from him earlier in the game. And Chris Guccione heard him again. And that's all he wanted to hear. You know, you can't argue balls and strikes. Mike's getting his money's worth now. I don't blame him.
I mean, you saw the check swing early in the game where he did not get the benefit of the call.
Let's see. Did he go around?
No, I believe that was I think he did, as opposed to Abreu, who didn't.
Right.
There's a bunt back to Zepchinski. Doesn't even look to second and throws wild, but Albert gets back on the base, and the umpire says he missed it. That was Greg Gibson who said that Albert did not step on the base, and Albert's got an argument, and so does Tony La Russa.
I thought he kicked it the first time, but then he complicated it by going again. So the sacrifice, and then E1 with a high throw. He's saying he got the corner of the bag, and we'll see from this angle. Pulls him off the bag. And then he touches it, clearly touches it. Clearly touches the bag, and I think Tony's been tossed.
Tony is irate about this call, and I don't blame him.
You know, it's such a big series, and you know, you're already trailing. It's late.
This could be a big out in this game. The Cardinals trail by 2, and they can't afford to trail by any more than that.
That's right. You know, so
they're giving you an out, and you think you've got it. Now, you did not make a very good throw, Zepchinski. Made it a tough play for Albert, but Albert came back. Tony's not done yet. That's Jerry Davis.
Jerry Davis, who's the crew chief. Rich Rieker, St. Louis, and umpire supervisor is here as Major League Baseball wanted a lot of eyes, not hoping for fireworks, but prepared if there were.
Well, I wonder what those eyes think of that call.
Well, I know the fans are at least supportive of Tony and his argument, and as we saw in the replay, Tony is right.
1-2 to Evans. And Nick takes a third strike.
Boy, oh boy.
Slider got him. Third time Evans has struck out today, and this time he leaves him loaded. 8 strikeouts for Corey Luebke. 2-0 New York after 5. In the bottom of the 5th, and Nick walked away silently, but I'm not sure whether the home plate umpire, Vic Carapazza, might have heard something from the dugout, because Terry Collins popped out and appeared very agitated. Yeah, he threw somebody out. I'm not quite sure who.
Well, Carapazzo's got to get rid of the rabbit ears.
I mean, that came from a long way away. Somebody from the far end of the dugout.
He just said, "Not you," to Evans, pointing to someone else.
Yep.
You got rabbit ears.
Chipper Jones with 1,000 extra base hits. Carlos Zambrano has now given up the most homers in any game he's ever pitched in the big leagues. 5.
Tim Timmons just threw him out of the game.
And Tim Timmons has the Braves bench in order. And you called it a moment ago, Joe, the volcanic personality of Carlos Zambrano. They didn't want to take him out. He took care of that himself by throwing at Chipper Jones.
There's something that goes with chicken salad, and you just saw it. That's weak. That is really, really weak. He just gave up 5 home runs. And his reply to that is not to get better and pitch better and throw better pitches, but to throw at somebody. That's weak. If I'm Carlos Zambrano's teammates, I'm tired of it. I'm tired of having to try to defend him. Tim Timmons did a terrific job there of putting a cap on that situation, immediately throwing him out and doing a real good traffic cop job of keeping the Braves from going after him.
Runners at second and third and 1 out. Popped it up. Medium right field. Ichiro gets some good momentum. Ellsbury can run. Here's the throw to the plate. Yeah, they got him. Did he hold on? Oh, he dropped the ball. It was there in time. Oh, brother.
How does he make that call?
Wow, that looked like he clearly had him.
He took a shot, too. Bart takes a shot right to the side of the head, it looked like. As he's laying down, Rob Nodine, the trainer, is out there. Eric Webb's looking at Bart and trying to argue, but I thought he still had the ball in his glove. He covered it up with his bare hand, and I don't think it came out of his glove until after the tag was made. What a shot he took. Unreal that he was able to hang on to the ball. A perfect throw from Ichiro. And he looks like he's dazed.
Robbie Johnson doing a good job getting Felix out of there. Rob Nodine doing some work. Boy, that play. Here comes Terry Francona. Crew chief is Brian O'Nora. Think they're going to reverse this? Because Terry doesn't look real happy.
I would be surprised if they had, unless the umpire, home plate umpire, said he thought he dropped the ball and everybody was seeing clearly that he hadn't. But I thought initially he called him safe because he thought he dropped the ball, but you could clearly see it in his hand. And now Francona not happy.
It's like he's been called out. You can see
I don't think I've ever seen that before. We talk about it all the time, Dave. Get the play right. We'll take a look at it. Ichiro gets behind it. It's going to be a one-hop strike into the catcher, Bard. And he takes a shot. Both hands on it.
Oh, he's out.
He's out. Uh-oh. Wait a minute. The ball looked like it came loose, and he pinned it on his arm and then grabbed it. Uh-oh.
Now, back to live action. Francona's been run.
I've never seen it, Dave, where they've reversed a call like that at home plate. Francona tossed out of the game, and I think maybe he has a reason. It looked like the ball came loose on the contact. Take a look at it. He has it in good shape, and then he comes and takes the shot. See if the ball comes out and lays on his arm.
There it is right there. There it is on the arm.
Wait a minute, though. I don't see the ball coming out of his hand. It doesn't matter that he's hanging on to it by a pinky.
No,
he is hanging on to it.
It's a right play.
That's a good call. Yes.
It's a right play. They got
and good
it
for
right.
them, for the umpires getting together and making the right call.
Here it is, what you were talking about. It rolls up his arm, but the
It's
contact's
still
been
in his
made right
hand.
there.
And he takes a knee right to the chin.
And there it is. He's holding on. He's got it. They got it right.
They got it right.
Great throw by Ichiro. Fabulous play by Bard. Here's the ball touching right there before he gets to the plate. A double play to end the inning.
Duffy's leaving up. They're taking hacks at.
Just missed. Line over Giavotella, and just like that, the Yankees tie the game. And here comes Ned Yost. So Danny Duffy, who was breathing fire in the first inning, 3 up, 3 down with a strikeout. Allowed 3 base runners in the second, 5 in the third. And now the first 4 have reached in the fourth. Ned Yost has not made a move. So either he's trying to give Duffy in the infield a pep talk, or he thinks that Nate Adcock needs a little more time in the bullpen. And maybe Ned went out to the mound to ask Kerwin Danley about his strike zone. Now that seemed harmless, and there's 2 ways to look at it. First of all, umpires don't want to be shown up, and Ned clearly was walking off the mound talking to Danley, and then even though this rule isn't really enforced in the big leagues, you are not supposed to argue balls and strikes. That is supposed to be, and I say supposed in quotes, supposed to be an automatic ejection.
Well, it's supposed to be, and a lot of time managers go to the mound and wait for the home plate umpire to come out there, and then his intent is not really to take the pitcher out, which is what I think Kerwin Danley was thinking. But Ned Yost started talking balls and strikes on the way down the hill toward home plate. And that's what got him ejected on at this particular time. And I think it all goes back to that first pitch.
That's a good one. Safe. Yes.
Yeah, here comes Maniaca.
We'll take another look at it as Maniaca goes out once again. Looked like he tried to tag him, but he tagged Tony Sipp instead.
That's what it looked like in real time.
Well, Tony Sipp is blocking the path of Laporta.
He couldn't help it.
He goes to get him. Now, if he got him on the left arm, it's tough from that angle to tell. But it's a judgment call, and it's going to go against Maniaca again. And it's first and second. It's thrown out of the game by Wally Bell. There he's given the boot. Puts the glove down.
That's deep to right. Hit a very long way. Gone! A two-run home run for Morneau. That ball was crushed.
That was a smoker. For Justin Morneau, his first home run since the end of May when he hit one in Detroit.
Joe Girardi's going to come out and maybe ask for another look, a review.
Even Justin kind of stood right there to make sure it stayed fair.
That view, it looks like it did go foul. So they're going to review it. So don't do what I've already done, and that is mark up your scorebook, because it looks like that one's going to get reversed. And of course, Joe Girardi has a great angle because he's in the third base dugout by the opening, by the on deck circle, and he may have gotten the best look of all right down the line.
Yeah, they're going to go review it right here. Jim Wolf, the first base umpire, always hard because, you know, they're watching the flight of the ball and then trying to spin around and try to see the flight of the ball.
There's Girardi's view right down the line. We'll find out from the umpires. No home run.
And Ron Gardenhire is going to come out and question the call.
There's no way they can look at that last replay and conclusively prove that it was foul. Can't be done. He hit it right over the foul pole. The ball landed beyond the seating area, I believe.
Brian O'Nora, the crew chief, again trying to explain to Ron Gardenhire why they called it foul.
And you can read Gardy's lips.
Over the foul pole.
With an extra word or two thrown in there, but on that last replay we showed,
I can't say those. They get me in trouble.
He's got a very valid point. Gardy's been tossed. I don't blame him. You can't argue these reversals. So he's arguing now with Jim Wolf, who made the original call. And to me, there's no way they can conclusively prove that the ball was foul. All right, now right now that ball is over the foul pole. Now on that replay, it looks foul.
Right, that's the one I wonder if they looked at, but you see where the ball landed. But then we show this one, you can see it over the foul pole. Boy, it's hard to, yeah, you can see it drop right there.
just think it's going to be heat.
He likes to go to that splitter.
No.
Yeah. Stolen base. And is that a strike 3 call?
Yep.
That looked from that angle looked awfully high.
Breaking ball. He went away from the fastball.
Stolen base for Tabata. His 15th of the year.
Let's check out this location here. And he's hearing it from the dugout. He is really hearing it.
Somebody got tossed. I guess it was Hurdle, but that was hard to believe that was a strike 3 call. I almost thought that Hannigan wouldn't even going to throw down to second.
Now Brian Knight's going to get an earful.
I guess he was hearing it from the dugout. Who knows who barked, but Knight turned and tossed Hurdle. And you know, we don't know for certain, but it almost looks as though Hurdle's saying, you know, how do you pick me out? You're hearing it from the bench. Hurdle is getting his money's worth now. Hurdle has become a very, very popular figure here in Pittsburgh in a short amount of time for, as he said, being all in, moving his family to Pittsburgh, taking this job over the Mets' perhaps opportunity this winter, and showing a lot of passion. Now the crew chief, Jerry Lane, going to try and have him get back into the clubhouse.
Okay, back to the issue.
According to that strike zone, it's a strike. And again, Hurdle going to go. Despite the fact that Jerry Lane wanted him out of there, Hurdle goes back to the home plate umpire.
There you get involved with those. They're borderline calls, and they go both ways at various times.
Garrett Jones ready to toss the bat away, thinking it's ball 4.
But they're going to have to shell out a lot of money to keep him there. Strike 3 call. Braun down looking. And another withering glance for Campos. I don't know. All these pitches that they're complaining about look like strikes, Keith.
He's a low ball umpire, and he's been consistent.
That's it for Braun. So Braun's night has come to an end. Well, Hart almost got himself thrown out of the game in the last inning, and now Braun argued a little too long, and he is ejected.
Well, I read his lips, and it wasn't a real violent argument, but it was the language that was used that got him run.
Not a very happy birthday present for Ron Renicky.
Well, he's got to defend his player, one of his star players.
Well, Renicky stays in the game, but not his star left fielder, who has been run after taking this pitch for a strike.
Borderline knees, too close to take. But as I said, Campos has been calling a low strike.
Alexei is gone. Very, very questionable pitch. Very, very questionable pitch.
We'll take a look on the Xfinity pitch tracks. Could have gone either way, unfortunately. Went the other way.
Yes, he went around.
Absolutely.
2 outs. So Renicky strikes out Kemp. Matt's still looking down at Ted Barrett.
They're still gesturing at each other. Ted Barrett's now he's going to throw him out of the ball game. Which, Mattingly just shrugged his shoulders like, are you serious? Come on. He's over here in the dugout. You're egging it on, which I think he did egg it on a little bit. No reason to throw your hands up.
Well, Don Mattingly's got to do this, and it's got to be convincing from a player standpoint. You're defending your player, you're defending your superstar. And yeah, it's 8-2, and yeah, there's 3 outs to go defensively.
Well, did he go around? Questionable.
He didn't go.
Right, questionable. He's upset. All he did was stand at home plate, doesn't say a word, and then he goes in the dugout. He throws his arms up. Now Barrett's watching.
He shouldn't be. Am I right?
See what Mattingly's holding his hands up enough. See, now he throws him out of the game.
Now Santiago bunting. That's a fair ball. They'll throw to third. He's out. Bellamy is called out. And here comes Leland. He is smoking, man.
Easy, Jim. Don't pull a hamstring.
That's the quickest I've seen Leland run out of the dugout. He can't believe this one. Oh, this is going to be good.
He's going to get run, too.
There he goes.
You can see it coming.
You could tell by the reaction of Gene Lamont that he disagreed with the call, and then Leland took about a second and a half to get out there.
And I think that was the trigger for Jim, is the way that Gene reacted to the play.
And Alan Porter took even less time to throw him out of the game. Now Joe West sauntering over from his first base position to try and break it up.
Well, we've had everything in this game. We've had 7-run leads that are down to 1. Both benches being warned.
How about this foot?
Is the foot on the bag?
Yep. Oh, hard to tell. I don't know.
Alan Porter is right there.
He is.
I mean, he is literally right there. Slow down, Skipper. About 10 words in. See you later.
Goodbye.
Little short curveball.
There you go.
He got another one.
He got another one. You're right. Bruce strikes out. And Veras comes in and gets the side in order. 1, 2, 3 go the Reds. A ground out by Lewis, a fly out by Votto. And now the strikeout of Jay Bruce. Bob Davidson heard a lot about it after this. While we were away, after Jay Bruce dejectedly walked back to the dugout. More emphatically, Dusty Baker crossed paths with him and came out to meet the home plate umpire. And bench coach Chris Spire also fired up as well, and it was an ejection.
Breaking pitch, and Gonzalez ended up about 5 feet off the pitching mound after he delivered that pitch.
His third straight strikeout in relief. Went back to that breaking ball.
I think Danny Valencia just got tossed from the game, and here comes Ron Gardenhire to visit with his good friend Hunter Wendelstedt.
Well, Danny, I think, was upset at the 3-1 pitch.
He's walking away. You can read Ron Gardenhire's lips. And the manager's going to follow him real soon. There you go. And again, they've had history that both men have said they've put behind them. But Wendelstedt
Well, he's saying that Danny said something and he's walking away, and Hunter Wendelstedt throwing him out. Jerry Lane right there, the crew chief, he too has had trouble with Ron Gardenhire. It's not that right there. Watch Danny saying something to him right there. That pitch is low, maybe the 3-1 pitch. It's not that last one.
Well, I think with that last gesture with the right arm, that's what got Valencia tossed, and now the manager is going to back up his players and flips his cap and discuss. It's been so many things building up here, and of all people, there's another fan throwing his cap on the field, and we don't want this to get out of hand.
Homer Bailey's at the plate. Here's the 0-2. Yeah, look up disseminate in Spanish, will you? No swing. Marlin dugout is chirping right now at Todd Titchener. Jack McKeon still on him. Fastball, fly ball, pretty well hit. Stanton goes back, tracking, reaching, won't get it. It's off the wall. Bailey loping around first, ends up at second. Well, you play a pitcher in because you don't expect him to hit it deep. And Homer Bailey just got it over Mike Stanton's head.
Yeah, he got a fastball out over the plate, and you see where Mike was playing, and that's where you should play the pitcher. But a tough read, a tough ball for him to go after. For a moment, it looked like Mike might get to it, but it kind of curled over the other way over his shoulder.
Now, Jack McKeon is out, and he and the first base umpire, Todd Titchener, are going at it. I don't know that. Did he throw Jack out? Because Jack is looking like.
Because I would think Jack's gone out there, and you can't do that, or you will be thrown out, to talk about that check swing the pitch before.
Well, let's look at the check swing, and then we'll figure out if Jack's been tossed.
Oh, we see that called 100% of the time, and especially with a pitcher up there. Jack has an argument, but I don't think you can go out and argue that.
I don't think you can. So let's see if Jack hands over the reins to Brandon Hyde, and he will. Looks like Jack's been tossed out.
First pitch breaking ball for a strike. There it is. Slow curveball. Bautista goes down for a third time tonight. Fast breaking ball.
Fastball up and in the prior pitch to just push him back off the plate, and then goes to that breaking ball for the strikeout.
Then there's gone 0 for 2. Fielder's choice in a lineup. Give you an idea what Jose Bautista thinks about his night. Good changeup. Shields can be frustrated, and now Bautista, somebody's been thrown out. Bill Welke from home plate threw somebody out, and here comes all the equipment as Bautista evidently has been tossed out of the game.
That's going to cost him. Hasn't been happy with the strike zone tonight. He let Bill Welke know it. Got thrown out of the game, and then the equipment started coming on the field.
Welke heard something from the dugout and threw him out right after Bautista had smashed his bat up against the back of the dugout.
All right, Sellers at first, Loney the batter. Rogers made 110 pitches. And there goes the runner, Helton down to his shortstop, and that will do it for Sellers. And for a wait a minute, what are they going to call now? Now Jim Tracy is coming out. Hunter Wendelstedt is telling Tracy, don't come out here. I'm not sure if that. Wow, they're going to throw Tracy out now. Well, Tracy's been kicked out, so he's getting rid of his money, venting his spleen. Sellers is standing at second base, and I guess they just called another balk. See where the right-footed is more. You're supposed to start in the direction you're throwing, so that as a left-hander, Reynolds' right foot and his right knee should have gone towards first base, and you can see the plate umpire Hunter Wendelstedt checking and tapping his knee, and what he's saying is that knee bent towards the plate, and then he threw to first. So what an odd inning, 2 balks, and that knocks the Rockies right off track.
He's the one that has been the most productive in his time in Chicago. As Greinke strikes him out. Zach Greinke with a great start, 1-2-3 inning. Ramirez not happy with Bill Miller. Greinke's first strikeout, Bill Miller, and then Mike Quade comes in, and whatever Quade said, Miller ejected him quickly. The 6th ejection for Mike Quade this year. It looked like Miller and Ramirez had it all worked out. You know, Ramirez was on his way back, but something that Quade said, those magic words, perhaps.
Yeah, you never know what it was, but it certainly looked like a pitch. It was down in the strike zone based on how the strike zone's called these days. And Bill Miller rings him up.
When healthy, was the second best starter they had in the rotation, and there is a pitch that Morse thought hit him. He's on his way to first, and the home plate umpire Holbrook said no, it didn't. And Davey Johnson comes sprinting out of the dugout. Former Reds manager is saying, let me see the ball, or can you ask somebody for a little bit of help? I thought at first he was going to look at the ball, but he's not.
I was going to say, well, I'm not sure what it was going to show. Davey Johnson maybe is one play too late on that. What he should have done perhaps is had them review the call when Brandon Phillips was hit by a pitch a couple of innings ago. Davey Johnson said I could hear it from the dugout. He's going down to Joe West right now. I get the feeling Davey's been waiting to get out there after one of these umpires all series long.
Well, Joe's still walking. I mean, if Davey's going to get him, he's going to have to walk a little ways. Now Joe's saying, hey, wait a minute now. You asked us to come together to talk about this thing. We did that. We're standing behind a call, and I've heard enough.
Well, for me, Tom, I think with Nick Massett, and his history will bear this out statistically, he just doesn't throw enough first pitch strikes. And with his stuff, I mean, he's throwing the ball 97 miles an hour. He ought to be attacking those hitters in all different parts of the strike zone. Now, Bo Porter's going to come in and ask Sam Holbrook what's going on there. Bo wants to make sure that the Nationals are batting in order. I believe he's looking at the lineup sheet that he pulled from Pat Corrales.
Hannigan, the batter. We'll see if Stubbs can take off. There he goes. Hands taken high. Throw down a second, and Stubbs is out at second base. And Stubbs is saying he never tagged it.
It looks like he went down the slide and had a hit of an awkward spot in the dirt and kind of bounced up. Kind of a strange slide by Stubbs. Looked like he had a big jump. Take another look. I can't tell whether he got him or not. Dusty Baker's out there. There you look at it, and it definitely looks like he missed the tag. And Dusty Baker, I believe, has just been ejected from the game. That is Chad Fairchild.
So Dusty thrown out of the game by the second base umpire, Chad Fairchild. And they're going to wait for Dusty to walk all the way back down to the home plate side of the dugout to make his way up the tunnel and back into the clubhouse.
On the ground, a fair ball, and this game is tied. DeRosa is going to go for two, and he is going to be out at second base. And he's got a beef right now with Dan Bellino. And the Giants have tied this game up.
What a great at bat by Mark DeRosa.
Well, Bruce Bochy trying to tell Dan Bellino that my guy's not going to argue unless he thinks he's safe. And he is safe.
He is safe, and it's not even close. I mean, he put on a very creative slide to avoid the swipe tag. And then he came off the bag, and then coming back around, it almost looked like Bellino did not look at the left hand. And we talked about the strong arm of Bogusevic. There's the miss.
Yep.
And he gets that left arm in there before he gets tagged. And Bellino punches him out.
4-2 in the first pitch of this inning. Lackey hits Cervelli, and he thinks it's on purpose. As he and Saltalamacchia start talking, and the Yankees are coming out of their dugout, so the Red Sox have come out of theirs. Bullpens will empty, and Ed Rapuano trying to get this under control before everybody meets. And we had Curtis Granderson hit the knob of his bat earlier on an 0-2 pitch in, and then Jacoby Ellsbury was hit in the elbow. Now the first pitch here for John Lackey, the 7th inning, and Cervelli gets hit. Took exception.
Well, you've got to wonder why in the world would John Lackey want to hit Cervelli down by 2 runs as we get deep in the ball game. I mean, I understand he hit a home run earlier in the ball game off him, but it doesn't make much sense. Somebody's going to get thrown out of here, I think, before this is over. Girardi going down.
Real close.
Yeah, he's real close to going.
17th batter the Lackey is hit, and it leads the league. Larry Rothschild, the pitching coach, also very animated.
I think somebody did get thrown out for the Yankees. It might have been Rothschild. I'm not sure. Let's go back to the ejection from the Yankees, and it does look like it might have been Rothschild that was thrown out of the game.
Wow.
Yeah, it was. He had his back turned to the umpire when he threw him out. And then Girardi gets in with it with the third base umpire Wegner.
Saltalamacchia gets hit as he was trying to swing, and it's on the swing. And he will take first base, but he's in some pain right now, first and foremost. And now getting thrown out is Girardi. He came racing out of the dugout, was thrown out even before he arrived.
He's complaining that Saltalamacchia swung at that pitch.
Salty heading down to first base, and he's going to stay in the game. Joe Girardi is heading to the clubhouse.